Hi there. All right, you've made it through the cutting and the sewing. So today I'm going to talk about some tips and some tricks. Well, maybe not tricks, but some tips for sewing with this. And I'm going to do this video every month on the third week. It might get a little bit repetitive, but I just want to make sure, sometimes it's like, okay, start your fabrics, okay, meet up the seams correctly, that kind of thing. But if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below. You can put them on Facebook. And then in the fourth week, so next week, I'll be doing a live Q&A where I'll follow up with any other questions that people have or more clarification, that kind of thing. But this is just a general, as I was sewing, I found, some things that might make it a little bit easier if you're struggling. I realize it's the third week. Honestly, most people don't quite keep up. They play catch up every now and then. Some people jump ahead, that kind of thing. So here we go. All right. I want to go over again the lining up of the notches. When I watched the video, sometimes it was out of the picture and I'm struggling with that because I can't see and I need to get it up close to my eyes to see. So I'm going to take a little bit closer of an approach here. So what I've got is I put together two leftovers and I want to sew them together. If I could turn this around, I want them to offset, but they're going to be on like this in a row. So when you match them together, and you want to pin your rows, you're going to see these a lot because these are going to be my, yeah, don't put it in your mouth. You are going to take, here I was out of the thing again. You are going to take, let me use this pin, this middle sewing line right here and match it up with the seam, the outer edge of this seam allowance, right? So not the middle right there, but this outer edge. So I'm going to take this middle edge and match it up with that outer edge. And then that gives me a sandwich right there of four, the outer, the seam, and then the seam, and then the outer of four stacked right on top of each other. So what that does, I'm going to try to hold it so you can see, when you sew it together, it meets up, and granted, this is just me holding it, to get that perfect kind of point because it needs to meet up 1/4 of the inch in. So that's why you have to sew offset. But when you do that, you get nice points like that. So that's something you'll have to practice. I'm going to show you on this one because I have more that are a little more off. So you see that one is off right there. I'm not stressing about that little bit. When you look at the whole like this, you cannot see it that much. And once you get it long armed or you quilt it yourself, I think that that'll go away even more. So now I'm telling you how to get that seam matched up, but then now I'm telling you, let it go. If you're a little bit off, it's not worth it. It really isn't. If you're really off, now it's up to you. You can do it. So on this blue one, that's about the most off that I got on here. Let me see if there's one that's a little more. That one's a little bit more right there. But again, not as the whole, it's not real obvious. So that's my other tip for you, is to let those small little off center seams go. As long as you're happy with it and you can live with it and you think when you quilt that it works, it will. Because I think I'm going to go back over this when it's quilted and go, I can't even see where I'm off. And the more you practice the seam, so the more we go on throughout making this quilt, the better you'll get. The more you'll have a feel for how it works out. So I'm excited about that. This week's block was really pretty simple. It was all the same shape, so I don't have too many things to talk about. Let's see. I don't necessarily pin. I know some people have asked about pinning. I don't pin when I'm piecing two individual blocks. When I'm starting to piece the rows, I'll pin at those seams so that I can keep it held, and then each end so that everything is nice and smooth. But other than that, I don't bother than pinning too much. Um, Again, start with the center seam of your row. That will help you, and it'll kind of smooth out as it goes. All right, that's pretty much it. These were pretty simple to cut, pretty simple to piece. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Now the swatch card, when I was laying out the colors, number one, how I'm cutting these, I've decided to do it as I go. You get like a 2 to 2.5 inch piece left over after you cut, and I just cut a strip off the end of it and then put the strip on here. These swatch cards are pre-done for you, and I've even moved it over a little bit so that you can put holes in it and put it in a braided folder or a notebook or whatever. So then also with the block, there were certain letters that coincided with the uh, the pattern, and I put which color I used where. This might be overkill in organization. You may never want to reference it again, but I felt you're getting 108 different Kona fabrics, and you have quite a bit of leftover from each of them, at least one of these strips. And I thought, well, if I fall in love with one of these colors, or I want to do a similar project using some of these colors, this is an automatic color card for me at minimum, right? With the colors that kind of coordinate in a six pattern. So I'm I'm doing the swatch card for that. And then if I want to reference back to anything, obviously I'll have it. So these are available through the Facebook group. They are in the files under the Facebook group. If you're not on Facebook, I am going to, you'll have to, at this point, email me, send me a message, something like that with your email so I can email you the file. I'm going to try to get this on the website soon. I'm going to try. I've had difficulties recently with being able for free downloadable things. So I've got one that has the original. This is the original kit and the one that I kitted if you bought from me directly. But if you're using other fabrics, I do have a blank swatch that's got the gravity, block of the month fabric swatches for month 1 all the way through month 9, and then the background so that you can keep track no matter what fabrics you're using. All right, so that is that. And then, sorry, got all my sewing area. From this 2.5 inch piece, usually it's 2.5 inch, sometimes it's a little bit less and you've got to take it from another part, but I am going ahead and cutting my 2.5 inch squares for, I will open it up, this cute stellar pillow that you can get from the leftover fabrics in this kit. I'll probably do this pillow, do some tutorials of this pillow like month 9 or 10, something like that when we get through. You might have enough background fabric left over. You need 3/8 of a yard. You might have enough left over, but you can also choose a different color background, and then you'll need some muslin and a different color for the backing. All right, so I am cutting my triangle pieces as I go. They don't take very long. It takes about another 45 seconds. So I'm just keeping it baggy, you will need one triangle for every color. And yeah, so just a tip, cut your triangles. Even if you don't know if you're going to do the pillow, you might as well go ahead and do it just in case you get excited when everybody else is doing it. Go ahead and cut your triangles. And at minimum, you can have fun with triangles at the end and a rainbow of colors. That would be neat to put like in a border or something. Anyway, we can get creative later. All right, that is the tips that I have for you this time. Go ahead and cut your triangles. Um, Work on your swatch card if you feel like you're going to do that. Work on matching up those seams. It is, you'll get used to it like after a while, because there's going to be a lot of seam points like this in this quilt. All right. Next week we will go live. I'll probably do it on Monday. I haven't quite set a time yet. I need to do that actually. All right. I will put in the comments below what time we're doing, and I'll make an announcement via email for those that are signed up, and we'll get that going. All right. See y'all next week, and happy sewing.